Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Roar Pride Week athletics session. Today's session, we will be discussing the overall health and wellness, safety, and mental health that goes into your experience as Regis Pride student athletes. Joining me today are LeClair, our head athletic trainer and assistant athletic director, and Coach Renato Capobianco, our head men's soccer coach and head strength and conditioning coach. A little bit later, you'll also hear from our director of the Counseling Center, Catherine Klickstein, to talk about some of our mental health and counseling resources on campus. The two gentlemen today, Coach and Ron, are here to share some wisdom with you about taking care of your body and staying well, and how those are keys to your success at Regis. So I'll start with Ron. Ron, can you give us a brief idea of what students can expect when they visit the training room and some of those things that they might need to know about working with our athletic trainers on campus?
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, we're excited to partner with the Boston Children's Hospital. We have 2 team physicians out of that hospital. We have 3 full-time staff athletic trainers. So you'll see us and work with us daily. Our athletic training room is in the bottom of College Hall, not far from the gym and not far from this lovely weight room. But we try to handle everything we can, from injury evaluation to rehabilitation, and anything that we can't handle in-house, we'll do our best to refer out to our team physicians, to health services, to counseling services, among many other people that we have access to through the Boston Children's Hospital Network and through our health services community. But the majority of any treatments you get will be in our athletic training room with us and with our staff athletic trainers. And yeah, we do our best with the new restrictions on the COVID-19 planning. We are going to operate differently than we have in the past. You will be required to wear a mask. We will be limited in capacity, and we will need to be planning appointments in order to come in and see us, barring an emergency or an injury that happens at practice. So we'll get deeper into that as you get onto campus and get those understandings. But we look forward to working with you. We also work directly with Coach Capobianco and the strength and conditioning staff to make sure that we're preparing our bodies correctly. And Renato can talk about that a little bit more. Coach?
Yes, thank you, Ron. As you can see, Ron, you could see the wonderful weight room we have at Regis College. That's only about 2 years old, and we're very, very fortunate to have such a state-of-the-art facility. Basically, my job, and I work with all the teams, is to help prepare you for your season. The collegiate season is a much more strenuous environment that you have to get into than what you're going to experience at your high school level. And being as bulletproof as possible, as fit as possible, as flexible as possible, as strong as possible is what we try to accomplish in the weight room. And primarily, the first thing you need to be thinking about is when we go in the weight room, we're not going in there to work out. We're going in there to train. And the biggest difference is there is a plan. There is a workout program, as opposed to just walking in there because you feel you just want to get bigger because of your appearance. We will address what needs to be looked at based on your sport, based on recommendations from maybe the athletic trainers. We do work very in sync with the trainers to make sure that if you're coming back from injury, you're coming back in the right way inside the weight room. So Ron and I work very closely to make sure you're as prepared as possible for your upcoming season.
So I'm going to go off script a little bit, Coach. And could you talk a little bit about the partnership that we've developed with food services on campus, and talk a little bit about the importance of nutrition, and give our students faith that they can find good things and the right things to eat on campus? Can you talk a little bit about fueling their bodies and how important that is?
Yes, in the last few years, we've been able to work together with the cafeteria to make sure, for example, during preseason, there were certain types of foods that there was an overabundance of. So they are very open to hearing what we have to say in terms of giving you the best options so that you are fueling your bodies accordingly. What you can do now during the summer is to make sure that you have proper eating habits, proper hydration habits. And I'm sure most of your coaches have hopefully sent you a packet with some sort of basic nutritional information. That starts right now. There's no such thing as doing this 3 days before you report. Your body, when you report to preseason, is kind of going to be a representation of what you've been doing the last 2-3 months. So making sure that you have balanced meals, making sure that you're hydrating properly so that every time you go to work out, you are hydrated before, during, and after. So these are things that are very important to us. The importance of sleep, for example. More and more we are hearing about how young athletes are not getting enough sleep. And I know that when you're young, we feel that we're invincible. Reality of matter is you're putting your body through very strenuous activity. Your body needs rest. Your body needs hydration. Your body needs proper nutrition. And if you don't pay attention to those simple but very important components, you're going to be at a disadvantage, and that's a disadvantage we do not want to put you at.
Yeah, I can't agree more. The 2 or 3 hours you might spend with your team at practice or with our training staff trying to get you healthy and trying to prepare you to succeed is nothing if you're not checking off those boxes of refueling, recovering, and sleeping. Those things are going to play as much, if not a bigger role in any recovery from injury that you have, or making sure that you don't get injured. We can do a lot of preventative maintenance. We can do a lot of stretching. We can do a lot of foam rolling and therapy and rehab. But if you're not taking care of those things, I promise you that you're setting yourself up for an injury. It may not happen immediately, but a continued setup like that is going to lead to you breaking down, and unfortunately is going to lead to you spending more time with me. And although I enjoy spending time with our student athletes, I would much rather be spending time with you as you're active at practice and in games. So please prepare yourself and start now. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Nothing you do with me, with Coach Renato, with our other athletic training staff is going to happen overnight. You're not going to see results without some work being put in on your end. And we're going to teach you how to work smarter, how to work correctly in order to get you to be as successful as you can be and reach the potential we know that you have. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Laura. And I guess
Thank you. No, that's great. I think one thing, Ron, I do want to just cover for our students that are with us today is taking care of your body physically is not the only area of concern. I think the other really important factor here is taking care of yourself mentally and being aware of where your mental health stands every day. That's in season, that's out of season, that's in the classroom, that's on the field. And I think we have incredible resources on campus. We have some former college athletes that are now employed as counselors on our community health services and counseling staff, and you will be hearing from Catherine Klickstein shortly after we've concluded. But Ron, if there's anything that you wanted to mention about this importance of having good mental health and where students can seek support, I think that would be great.
The current data coming out of the NCAA is amazing, and how many people are affected with mental health issues, whether it be anxiety, depression, and that's totally understandable, especially during this time of so much uncertainty. Our counseling center is fantastic. They are easily accessible. And I would say that the biggest thing to handle some of these issues is destigmatizing it. We all have issues. We can all talk to people about these things. And we do our best to make sure that we maintain confidentiality within our room as much as we can. And we put you in touch with the people that can help you the best. We're willing to walk you through every step that you can have to make sure that we get you in front of the right person to have those conversations in a safe environment. We've put together mental health planning over the past couple of years, the work that Laura did along with another counselor to provide athletes with skill sets to build resiliency and to handle those tough conversations and be willing to help their performance by handling what's going on in your head. Sometimes it's just a brief conversation, but if you're not handling that stuff, it makes it tough because it becomes overwhelming and a snowball effect. So please reach out, communicate. If you're having issues, you're having a tough time, you just need to talk to someone, contact me, contact Coach. We can contact Catherine Klickstein, who you'll hear from in a minute, and that is of the utmost importance as well. Thanks, Laura.
I was on mute, pardon me. Thank you, Ron. And Coach, before I break us up and we transition to hearing from Catherine, are there any final thoughts that you have for this group in terms of the strength conditioning, from your strength conditioning lens and wellness lens, that they can be prepared coming into the fall?
Yeah, two things. I'm gonna assume that all your coaches have given you a summer packet. Please make sure you do those, because that's a periodized workout program. And by that I mean they're taking into consideration how much exercise you should be doing on a weekly basis, how much rest you should be getting. The coaches didn't just come up with, let's see how hard I can make my players run. That is a scientific workout program. So try to make sure that you follow that as much as possible, because that's the first step into being successful. The second thing I would say is really think about coming into this upcoming season with a positive, enthusiastic frame of mind. There are going to be some new challenges, whether it's playing time, whether it's dealing with the new health crisis, they're making new friends, new environments. There's going to be a lot of new things that are going to challenge you mentally. One thing I can tell you that we found out since we just started this brand new weight room in the last 2 years, the training sessions in the weight rooms have been a phenomenal source of team building and team bonding. And that's, I can't stress that enough. So you really need to think about bringing an enthusiastic mentality to the table, because that's just going to help the team be stronger, and your friendships are going to grow much faster. And I think you're going to start to find people that you can trust and rely on in this very important first semester of your college experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. And thank you very much for your time, Coach Capobianco. Thank you very much for your time, Ron LeClair. You guys, thank you for joining us again. We can't wait to meet you and have you on campus. Have a good day, and stay tuned for Catherine Klickstein.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Catherine Klickstein, and I'm the Director of Counseling at Regis College. I am going to talk with you today about mental health and wellness for student athletes. Coming to college is an exciting and fun time, but it also brings with it some stress for most college students. Students are dealing with academic pressure, pressure to perform well in their sports, juggling numerous competing demands, school, athletics, jobs, social life, family. There's financial stress for many students, relationship issues, adjusting to being in a new environment with new expectations. Many students for the first time are exposed to drugs and alcohol, experimenting with using themselves, or just dealing with being around other folks who are using. This is also a time where many people are figuring out their sexual identity. And people are doing all this without the structure and support of their families around them. And on top of all that, folks are dealing with social media, and for good and for bad. So recent studies of college students have found that more than 60% of college students reported experiencing overwhelming anxiety in the past year. And over 40% said they felt so depressed they had difficulty functioning at some time in the past year. And 12% reported seriously considering suicide at some time in the last year. So over the past years, students are experiencing more and more serious mental health issues. And between 2007 and 2017, the percentage of college students using mental health treatment rose from 19% to 34%. So we're seeing more and more students who are actually seeking treatment for their mental health issues, which is wonderful. And now looking at college athletes, we find that, not surprisingly, college athletes also experience a lot of mental health issues. 1 in 4 experiences depression. However, one sort of unfortunate trend we see is that student athletes don't seek out mental health treatment as much as their non-athlete peers. And, you know, that research has been done as to why student athletes are less likely to seek out treatment. And it seems to be a variety of things. I think stigma impacts them, feeling like they don't have the time. A lot of times student athletes feel like they want to solve their problems on their own, or they may feel like their problems aren't serious enough, that it doesn't warrant meeting with a mental health professional. So my main message to you today is that I want to let you know about our counseling services that are available to all of you for free, and to encourage you to utilize them. Because, you know, coming to college, as I've said, is a wonderful, you know, exciting time, but it can be really stressful. And I think many people think of counseling as something that is for people who have serious mental illness. And it's not something for somebody who's just trying to deal with sort of normal life stressors. And that is not true. And want to sort of help you see that it's actually better to seek help before you have a really serious problem. That counseling is really just a tool. It's not a measure of your, you know, mental health, you know, wellness or lack of wellness. It's just a tool that's there that folks can utilize to help themselves. And we can help people in a real variety of ways. And so just to give you some, you know, ideas here about what steps can you take to promote your own emotional wellness. And one really good one is to increase your awareness of your thoughts and feelings. What we are thinking really impacts how we feel. And you can work on this by coming to counseling, and we can help you with it. Journaling is another great strategy. And there are a lot of really wonderful apps out there that can help you with this. I put down CBT Thought Diary is one of my new favorites, and that's a free one. You know, another strategy for emotional wellness is to cultivate a more positive attitude by practicing gratitude. And this is something too that we can help you with in counseling. And just to give you a couple great apps that are available to help with this, there's Shine, a Gratitude Happiness Journal. And another strategy is to seek support and express emotions. And counseling, again, is a great way to do this. If not with a counselor, friends and family, or the Center for Campus Ministry is another resource available to you to help with this. But really, when you are struggling with something, even if it can't change the circumstances you're dealing with, we find that talking with somebody about what it is you're dealing with and how you're feeling can actually help people feel a lot better. Another strategy is striving to maintain a balanced life by setting priorities and utilizing time management skills. And, you know, as I said earlier, this is a tough time where students are really balancing a lot of competing demands and managing time, especially when you're an athlete and you've got a sport that's taking up a lot of your time. This can be challenging, and sometimes students find they don't have the skills for managing their time well. And that's something we can help you with. in counseling, and there are a lot of great apps for that as well. I've got a few down here: the Pomodoro Timer, Flora, the Focus Habit Tracker. And then another approach is to cultivate mindfulness and your ability to be in the moment. A lot of people spend a lot of time in the past and the future, thinking about where they went wrong, beating themselves up, or worrying about what could be coming down in the future. And generally, folks who are stuck in the future aren't imagining a great future. They're worrying about bad scenarios that could happen. And that makes people feel stressed and anxious. And so learning to use mindfulness techniques can really help bring anxiety down. We can teach you that in counseling. There's also great apps: Calm, Stop, Breathe, Think, Headspace, Mindshift, Insight Timer. And then the last strategy I want to highlight is prioritizing self-care. Making time daily for activities that make you feel recharged, and this would be whatever, it's very individual what works for you. Some examples for some people would be taking a walk off campus, spending time with friends. For others, it's spending time alone, doing meditation, art, or coming to counseling. So as you see, there's a theme here where counseling is a resource that we can help you with many different strategies, help you sort of learn ways that you can help yourself cope and feel better. And you do not need to be in crisis to come talk with a counselor. And these there are a lot of things you can learn on your own to take care of your own emotional health and wellness. But if you feel like you're not sure where to start or what would be most helpful to you, you might want to set up an appointment with a counselor and talk it through, and we can sort of strategize some ideas that seem like they would be suited to your own particular likes and dislikes in particular situation, etc. So I just want to highlight, if you are interested in meeting with a counselor, when we're on campus, we're located in the rear of Maria Hall, adjacent to Health Services. And if you want to schedule an appointment, just call Health Services at 781-768-7290. and let them know you want to set up an appointment to meet with a counselor. Right now, we have been doing video counseling because of the pandemic, and most likely that's what we'll be doing when the school year starts. Every student at Regis is entitled to 12 free counseling sessions each academic year, which is a lot. It's pretty much enough so that you could meet with a counselor about every other week. And if you use your sessions up and you still want to keep meeting, you can pay $25 a session for additional sessions. And we make exceptions when we feel like it's clinically necessary and a student is unable to afford the fees, then we have the ability to waive the fee. And you may want to know that Lindsay Miller, Brandon Jones, and Emma Kraus are counselors on our staff. Well, actually, Lindsay and Brandon are staff counselors. Emma's an intern who'll be working with us this year from BU. And they're all three are former college athletes. And Lindsay and Emma are trained in sports psychology. And just to also let you know too, we run some groups and workshops through counseling. We have a grief group that meets on Tuesdays during the school year. We also have Mosaic we'll be starting up, which is for LGBTQ+ students and allies. And I do a cognitive behavioral therapy group. And Lindsay runs a bunch of workshops for student athletes. Also want to make sure that you know that about Talk 1-to-1, which is a great resource. It's free phone counseling for in-the-moment support. So this is a number you can call when the counseling office is closed. You can get directly connected with a mental health professional to get support over the phone. And you don't have to be in crisis to call. You could just, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can call and sort of talk it through with somebody. This is not for ongoing counseling. You don't schedule follow-up appointments with them. But when you feel like I need to talk to somebody right now, it's a great free resource that's available to you. And then lastly, I just want to share a great resource. Lindsay Miller, who I mentioned is a sports psychologist on our staff, made this 45-minute video on coping strategies for student athletes during the pandemic. And so I've got the link here, and I think it's wonderful, and you might find, if you're interested in learning just a little bit more about sort of what are some of the strategies you could use to help yourself cope better with stress, that she goes into it a little more in this, so you could hear a little bit more about it. All right. Well, please, it was nice to get to be able to speak to all you. And, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you are interested in setting up an appointment.